Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Deuterium Gaming. So, I have here my first base in oxygen not included that reached over 1,000 cycles. So in this video, we're going to take a look how I set this base up and what are the things that I did or I got lucky with that allowed me to reach up to this point. Okay, so I think let's start with the most important one, water. This polluted water vent is really cool. Why? Because it produces 8.8 kilograms of water per second at 30 degrees Celsius. That's very important. The 30 degrees Celsius part is very important because it's a good source of water and keeps your base from overheating. You can also dump energy or heat into this pool of water like what I'm doing. This is a SPOM, a self-powered oxygen module. It generates a bit of heat, as you can see. And before I pump the oxygen back into the base, I pumped it through here just so that it could exchange heat with a pool of water. So it starts off at 51 and goes out at 31. And I could have run it through here, but I can't open this because the water will spill. By the way, this is in survival mode. So this is very helpful because you could just pump the water from here to a water sieve, then pump the output of that water sieve into an electrolyzer. And it won't create, well, it used to create germs, but I don't think it's creating germs now. Yeah, I did this before, water sieve to an electrolyzer, and it was outputting germs. I can remember that happening, but that was a few updates before. Now the next thing, wait, why is this disabled? Oh, it's already bypassed. The next thing that helped me a lot is the nearby natural gas geyser. So this is the temperate biome. If I recall correctly, it's called the temperate biome where you start off. That's your printing pod there. And the natural gas geyser is just a couple of... what's our unit of measurement here? A couple of squares? Is that a couple of squares? But it's near. It's almost adjacent, or I think it's really adjacent to the temperate biome. This helped a lot in keeping my base powered. So I just pumped... Initially I just pumped it directly before I think it's the rocketry upgrade, where the gas reservoir were added. Yeah, it's the rocketry upgrade. The size of this chamber is supposed to be the buffer for the natural gas, but ever since this gas reservoir came out, I just used them here, and it pretty much, the amount of buffer I have pretty much reaches up until, covers the inactive or dormancy period of this geyser. The next, excuse me, this chlorine gas vent, I don't really understand what's the use for this. I tried to use it to cool this huge mistake over here, but it didn't work. I'll explain later what this thing is and why I have this here. Okay, let's go next to hell, the lower part of the base. This is a fish pond. These pots are useless. So this fish ponds is a very good source of meat. Now couple that up with pinch of pepper nuts, a whole farm of them. I also have another one here, and the Drecos are supposed to eat that to produce phosphorite. Yeah, this is a good source of meat. I have one and another one here, and as you can see, my calorie storage, it's around 300,000, and I have a lot of meat. It's good enough to supply a 13 person, actually that's just an 11% base. The other two is isolated here. This is an experiment, actually another project, but I haven't finished yet. I'll talk about this in another video if ever I finish this project. This is what you call slavery in oxygen not included. I think the next one I should show is the ice biomes. The ice biomes are a very, very great help, especially the... Okay, my computer lagged. Especially the anti-entropy thermal nullifiers. Just create a SPOM, a self-powered oxygen module nearby one, and you will have very little problem about overheating. Very little problems about overheating. Now I just put the Wiz words here because the anti-entropy thermal nullifier AETN, the AETN isn't able to cool the output of these two enough. So once I had that running, I never had the power. Actually, I was able to cool part of the base, especially this part, because I don't think this is... Oh, that's a Abyssalite. This one isn't. I wasn't able to turn this into Abyssalite. By the way, currently you cannot create Abyssalite tiles anymore. You have to create a what do you call that? A material in the molecular forge. Actually, I forgot what material that is. Let me just check. Alright, so I did a quick Google, so apparently it's a super insulator, but I looked at the database for the materials and it looks like it's this. So I don't know how to build that yet, so I haven't explored it. So if you know how to, just let me know in the comments. I am not like rushing into the new stuff because I'm trying to go through slowly with my current base right now, because if I go fast quickly, especially I have some problems with my rockets right now, like this one, I can't use it. I'll talk about that later. So it looks like this is made from Abyssalite, but I have to get some material from space to be able to refine that into an insulator. Okay, so what's next? I guess I can tell you about my rocket problems, because I started this in the rocketry upgrade and now it's a space industry upgrade and I suddenly can't use this rocket. So I have to start from scratch, build another rocket using the where is it? The steam engines and some solid fuel thrusters and like that to research the new branch that came out. So I'm just going through that again in this save file. And about this one, I can actually use this if I pump this with oxalite, but I don't want to. It's a waste of time, honestly. If I make oxalite here, the duplicates will run up there and it will lose half its mass. I just would rather find a way to create liquid oxygen and pump it here. I think that would be easier, but I haven't figured out or set up a way to do that yet. So about this one, I tried to launch a rocket here once, and it ended up being a mess. It melted the phosphorus around, and now it's a hot spot, or a hot area, has a lot of mass, and it's so difficult to cool. This is where I was trying to pump the chlorine from here, and it barely did anything. I think it only moved the temperature by 1 degree Celsius. Though it helped a lot in creating steam, which I used for the steam engine. So it's not a complete loss. And this one is another interesting setup that I made. It's a cooling tower. Basically, you pump waste liquid here. You pump waste liquid here and you use that as a coolant for your thermal aquatuners. So once I have supercoolants, I will replace the crude oil with the supercoolant because it has better properties for cooling. And eventually I will pump hot water from this part, from this vent to here. So eventually this will boil and evaporate. And since this is an abyssalite tile, the energy transfer will be near zero, or actually it is zero. And when the water here is gone, I'll just, pump water from my polluted water reservoir. And that would even create dirt, which I badly need at this point. Look at that. My dirt is at 2,000 kilograms. So I don't think there's any other interesting to show you. So thank you for watching.